So yesterday I went to see the new 2023 The Little Mermaid live action, and let me just say this, I had a very great time. I loved it. I think it was amazing. I loved the music. I loved how it looks. I really loved the cast. Halle Bailey, amazing. But still, there was something that left me completely disappointed, and I literally left the cinema being like, why? Why this was like this? You wanna know what was it? Well, throughout everything, throughout all the chaos, all the drama, all the destruction that was this movie in terms of the whole media, the only thing that really disappointed me was the costumes. So hi, welcome everybody to this new video. So yeah, this video is gonna be focused on the costuming of the new The Little Mermaid that came out some days ago. I don't remember really, but anyways. So yeah, all opinions are welcome, but not the ones full on hatred, no. I mean, if you just want to leave a comment of, Halle Bailey or the actress or how she doesn't look like the original Ariel, we all know that. We had passed that. Come on. But I really want to know what your opinions on the costumes or in the movie as general. So yeah, all opinions are welcomed with respect, please. And yeah, so we're only going to focus in this video again on the costuming. Now there sure are some stuff of the movie that I am going to touch upon in this video, maybe because of the things that I'm going to talk, but I am really excited because I don't know guys, I really wanted to make this video immediately after I watched the movie, but I had to wait because there was a lot of information that wasn't even put up in the media about the costuming that I needed to make this video. So yeah, anyways, so let's go. So I don't know about you guys, but I had really high expectations in terms of the costuming in this movie. And I'm saying this because we have seen amazing costumes in all of the other live actions of the Disney princesses. I especially am a fan of the 2015 Cinderella costuming. The costumes in that movie looks amazing. Everything is 10 out of 10. I loved how everything looks, and not only with Cinderella but with literally every single one of them. They are amazing. First of all, I didn't really think about just the costumes of the movie at first back in January when the whole trailers and photos were coming out. I didn't really sit and were like, okay, what are the costumes of this movie gonna look like? No, I didn't thought about that until this photo. When this photo came out, I was like, okay, I think they are gonna make the costumes of this movie have a lot of historical references, and I was so happy, and I had a lot of high expectations because I don't know if you can tell by the background, but I'm a very big fan of the 1830s. So I was like, oh my god. But anyways, so as you can tell also, I am a very big fan of the Disney princess lineup. I know some people is like, yeah, okay, I mean, anyways, but I'm a very big fan of the Disney princesses. They were really a big inspiration for me when I was growing up, and I loved every single one of them. But my two favorite Disney princesses, if you want to ask, is Cinderella and Mulan. But I basically love every single one of them. So of course, as a tradition, I watched every single one of the live actions when they came out, and I was of course gonna watch The Little Mermaid because even though she wasn't my favorite Disney princess, I really liked her and I really loved her. Let's just stop talking about this. Let's go deep into the costumes because I want to do that. I'm waiting to do this. I don't know how many days or weeks have passed, but I've been wanting to talk about this. And I know it's not a really big deal, but I like it. And also, let me clarify this. I'm not gonna rank this or like criticize it for not being historically accurate, because why you will do that? It's a Disney movie. Of course I'm not gonna say, oh my god, it's historically inaccurate. Who cares? It's a Disney movie. I am only gonna talk about the historical references and what I liked and didn't like. I think a great start will be talking about the costuming in the animated The Little Mermaid of the 1980s. So we can actually start in there and then we can go into the live action, the 1980s one. I'm gonna say the original one has a lot of historical inspirations, and I'm gonna say this, like all the Disney princesses have historical influences mixed with the fashion of the time that the movie came out, and also fantasy and magical elements because they are fairy tales. For example, Snow White has a very 1530s, 1540s Germany, Lucas Cranach gown style, but also mixed with the 1930s. Cinderella has, let's say, mid 19th century Victorian elements mixed with the 1950s. And of course, Sleeping Beauty has like a stereotypical medieval way mixed with the end of the 1950s fashion. And of course, Ariel, the Little Mermaid, also has this type of influences. And even though the movie came out in the 1980s and we see a lot of 1980s influences in the movie, still, I think she's one of the most historical looking ones from the Disney princess lineup. And I'm gonna tie her next to like Tiana from The Princess and the Frog and even Snow White. Like, she looks really historical accurate if we say, I don't know, if we just pick or we choose one era or one period to say, okay, this is where the movie kind of like took place. And the original The Little Mermaid fairy tale, written by Hans Christian Andersen, was published in the 1837. So we do have a historical influence. As I said, I love the 1830s. We can say that it actually takes place in the 1830s, and there's a lot of stuff that can help us to say this took place in the 1830s. Let's talk about Ariel's costumes in the animated one. I'm only going to talk about the costumes on land. So that means the pink princess gown, the nightgown, the blue dress, the dress that she comes out of the water, and of course the bride princess gown. I am a very big fan of the pink princess gown. I don't know a lot of people that likes it, but I am a very big fan of that dress. I think it's just amazing. I love the big sleeves, I love the big skirt, I love the color. Like, some people say it doesn't really complement Ariel, but I don't care. I think it looks really cute. And if we think of the whole 1830s, you know, the 1830s silhouettes with the gigot or the leg of mutton sleeves, the big skirts, and the tight, kind of tight bodices, we can say that this movie takes place in the 1830s because we have a lot of these elements mixed in them. But specifically the pink dress looks 100% like it came out of the, I don't know, 1832 fashion magazine of, I don't know, the mode of Paris, if we can say. I love every single looks that she has in this movie. I think they are really pretty and really cute. And from all the Disney princesses, I can say that she's one of my favorite ones in terms of the fashion that she has. I really like it. But then in the live action, she has like 3 changes compared to this 5 changes that I talked to you guys about, you know, the costumes on land. Animated one has 5 and the live action has 3. Why? And if we took out the nightgown, there'd be like 2 only dresses that she wears on land. 2 from like the other 3 to like 4 dresses that she wears if we actually count the magical getting out of the water foam, sea foam, I don't know, dress, magical dress. Why this change? And of course we have some factors and some stuff that actually go in between why this movie doesn't have that much costume changes. Why does Ariel doesn't have a lot of beautiful costumes? Like, well, there's a lot of stuff that goes in that. First of all, let's talk about Colleen Atwood. I really like her. Some of the movies that she has made, I'm a very big fan of the costuming in them. But, you know, in this movie, I'm not gonna say she because other people was involved in just the idea of Ariel not having a lot of costuming, like changes. But anyways, and if people say, oh my God, like, anyways, but really, Colleen Atwood was, and we can see that from the interviews that she had, she said that she was specifically inspired by the 1830s, the decade, to make the on-land costumes. And we can see that. I'm gonna post some of the pages and interviews that I found so that you can see. It talks about, you know, some of the fabrics that she chose, some of the looks, and how did she wanted to make it seem and make it look. Even the director and producers, they wanted to make this movie happen like a start of the 19th century inspired look to the movie, and it does. It looks like a period drama of the Little Mermaid. Like, it looks really good. Like, the costumes are really pretty. But Ariel, what is going on? And because they wanted to make it look historical and realistic, they just cut out some of the costumes that she wears in the animated one because of time and, you know, the whole changing some things in the script. And so they end up like cutting some of the, or not, that's why we end up not having some of the costumes. And let's just say why. Like, I know that they try to make in the live actions seem like, you know, the movies are a bit more realistic, but this is not real. This is not a historical real setting. This is a magical movie, a fantasy movie that involves mermaids, witchcraft, speaking animals, and, you know, just fantasy. It's a fantasy. And it's a Disney magical movie. So I don't understand why they were like, okay, she's gonna wear one dress through all the movie to make it seem realistic, because it's not. Why does all the other Disney princesses in their respected live actions just have their princess dress, have their changes in costuming that really represents their different outfits in the animated one, but this movie not? I don't understand. Also, the influences are from not only the 1830s as a whole, but the Caribbean. It has a lot of like more, let's say, more island, more like a summer vibe. This movie has a lot of, just as I said, Caribbean vibes. It doesn't have that European and looking to the whole stuff. Like, the castle doesn't look European, the, I don't know, in the ambience, the style, the whole, I don't know, look of the movie is not really European. But still, even though they say, oh my God, it's not European, most of the costumes that all of the other people wears in this movie are 100% European. Even though they are influenced by the Caribbean and everything, as I said, they are still really European. So why we didn't got a beautiful ball gown for Ariel, I don't understand. So let's talk about the costumes that Ariel from the 2023 movie actually wears. So the undergarments are the most historical. Like, they look really good for being a Disney movie. First of all, she wears a pink high boots. Now, these boots look a lot like mid or late 19th century Victorian boots, but still, I think they look really pretty. I mean, they don't really look like 1830s boots or, I don't know, shoes. And even though that, I think that these pink boots are really good looking and they look amazing in Halle Bailey, so I don't care. Then she wears a beautiful chemise, white of course, underneath everything, and I love that. Then she wears white drawers or bloomers, and also they have like a little lace. Now the corset. So the corset seems more like a late Victorian corset than a 1830s corset, but still I actually saw this later on when I was looking for some imagery. The corset has a front wooden busk. I didn't actually notice that the first time that I watched the movie. I had to zoom in the photo, and yes, you can tell she is wearing a front wooden busk, and that is completely accurate, and I love that. Then the blue dress. Finally, the blue dress, we get to talk about it. Now this dress and some of the other dresses in the movie have a more 1837, 1838-ish type of silhouette in terms of their sleeves, and I really like it. I love the shape of the sleeves, even though they are not like huge. They don't have to be huge. This is meant to be a dress for a maid of the palace, so, or anybody else, I don't know, a townsgirl, a townswoman, so it doesn't have to be exquisitely shaped. I love how the details in the bodice, I really like it, and she's wearing like a swass waist, or I don't know how you say it, like a corset thing in the waist, and even though that is not accurate to the 1830s, it looks like it's part of the gown, so I don't care. And the shape of the skirt is really good, and we can say it's also a bit accurate because dresses from the start of the 1830s, they were a bit higher than, they were not completely covering your feet, so we can say that the skirt looks like that. And also the skirt reminds me a lot of a corded petticoat from the 1830s, and I saw that and I was like, it reminds me a lot to it. I don't know why, but it has a similar vibe, so yeah. Then the last dress that Ariel wears is the honeymoon / final dress, and is exactly the same shape, exactly the same. They copy and pasted the same dress, but the only difference relies on the colors. She has a ribbon tied in the back, which is completely accurate. I love it. A pink ribbon. But anyways, that's the only dresses that Ariel wears in the movie. She doesn't wear any incredible, big, huge princess dress as she should, as she deserves. So before I talk to you guys about how I would have designed or how I would have dressed Ariel in this movie, I wanted to touch, of course, the other characters that wear other costumes of other characters of the movie. First of all, Queen Selena. I loved every single costume that Queen Selena wears. I love her the actress that portrayed her, and even though the dresses don't look really exaggerated and extravagant, they still are the most detailed from all the other women of the cast and all the other characters, so you can difference and you can tell her apart from everybody else. And yeah, she is wearing a different dress in every single scene that she appears in. I'm not joking. She's wearing a different dress in every scene, and I love every single one of them. And then of course we have Vanessa, the human counterpart of Ursula, who is dressed to the tens. I love the outfit. I knew that she was gonna be dressed like this, and I love it. Her dress, her purple dress that she is the only one that she wears in the movie, is the one that is the most accurate to the end of the 1830s, because first of all, it's a floor-length skirt. I love the color, even though the color purple that looks more like a magenta didn't really exist. I think that a deep purple would have been suitable for her in terms of a historical setting. But the color of this dress is amazing, and I love her big sleeves. Her dress has huge sleeves. And also we got a snip pic of her undergarments in the scene of Vanessa's trek. So she wears a lilac with black lace corset, mostly the same as with Hallie. The corset is more like leaned into a stereotypical Victorian corset than a 1830s corset. And I know that this is not the only corset that she wears, because we can see in other pictures that the actress Jessica Alexander posted on Instagram that she's wearing another corset and beautiful lilac boots. These are not the only boots that she wears. She also wears deep purple boots in the movie, and they have, I love this detail, like Ariel's boots have like seashells embroidered in them, and then Vanessa's boots have tentacles embroidered in them, and I love that. And of course the rest of the court wears beautiful, and I will say even more accurate 1830s dresses than the other characters. The court is dressed really good, really accurate. And also, I forgot to talk about this, the other female characters, Rosa, and I don't remember the name of the other woman, but you know, the maids of the palace, and their dresses are also pretty good, and I really like them too. So now let's go to the final state of the video, which is how I would have dressed Ariel in this movie. Of course, because of all the outfits look completely 1830s, I am gonna still make the dresses that I wish she could have worn fit with the 1830s aesthetic. So how would a pink ball gown fit in this movie? First of all, I'm gonna leave the blue dress. I have to take off the Scuttlebutt song. I'm sorry, I know that some people like it. I didn't like it. And I also would have cut out some other seconds of other scenes that are like too long for no reason. They are pretty long. I will fit a dinner scene. Basically, I will put it after the scene where, you know, Ariel and Eric are in Eric's room with all his collection, and maybe he could invite her to the dinner, and that's when maybe Rosa then later comes back and she's like, this is something that Eric gifted to you, and it will be a beautiful 1830s pink satin dress. And I'm gonna put some inspirations in the screen so you can see how I think a pink dress would have looked like in this movie. And I actually made a drawing in last month of Ariel with a pink dress, and I thought that this movie was gonna have a pink dress, so I was like, okay, this is my version. And even though we didn't have it, this is how I could have imagined Halle Bailey in a pink dress in this movie. I don't know if you could understand, but that's just how I would have imagined a dinner scene in this movie. I know that it maybe would have been a wasted time to have it, but I still wish they could have included a way to make Ariel have a pink dress. And pink was a very famous and fashionable color for a ball gown or an evening gown, so it would have totally fit in this movie to have Ariel in a pink ball gown. I would have definitely have her in a beautiful sparkling seafoam dress, maybe still having some historical influences. And I don't know why they didn't want to put it in the movie. Like, they totally could have added in the scene, but they don't. From a costume perspective, it's sad, but the scene is still very beautiful. You know, when Ariel and Eric finally can, you know, hug and kiss, it's still a very pretty scene. Then the last dress will be the bride dress. And I know that in the movie, some people say that that is not a wedding, that's just a honeymoon. Well, it is kind of a wedding. Still, I would have kept a wedding scene and made Ariel wear a beautiful 1830s wedding dress. There's a lot of dresses that they could have put to Ariel to look like more of a ball gown, more of a evening gown, even though it's in the day. I still would have kept her in a beautiful white dress that could fit in this movie. I'm gonna show you some references and some dresses of the time that I would have just completely loved to see Ariel wearing as her bridal look. And then when she's almost getting in the boat, she would have been like, girl, I'm gonna take this dress off. And she would have said, I don't know, maybe said to Rosa, can you help me? And they would have take the dress off, and she would have taken it off. And under that bright dress, she would have had this honeymoon dress. So, you know, this dress can be like her undergarments. I don't know that it wouldn't have been really practical, but still, it would have completely fitted, I think, in my perspective, as, you know, Ariel's final rebel moment. And that's it. Those were my opinions in the costumes of the Little Mermaid. I hope everybody liked it. I liked it. I think I had a great time, not only with this video, but also with the movie. Still, I think it's a beautiful movie. So yeah, I hope everybody liked it, and tell me in the comments what you think about it. Bye!